changing? Because we talk a lot about this pandemic in terms of the values that are going to be changed afterwards. The last decades have been marked with a boom in consumerism, consumer society. I mean, we binge buy stuff that we don't really need. What do you think will happen after? Will we go back to this unreasonable consumption of stuff, or on the contrary?
Yeah. So if you asked the question, what were your goals 6 months ago, and how have those goals changed in the last 6 months? You're going to find that a lot of the things you thought were so important 6 months ago are pretty frivolous. That those are things that, wow, that seemed really dumb to be caring about that. I'm more in survival mode today. I'm more into knowing where the food's going to come from. Can I get face masks to wear in public? Am I going to have enough money to pay for the food and the rent and water and all of those things? All of these priorities start to change, and so it's hard to say. We're speculating on so many fronts right now as to what changes permanently and what changes temporarily. I mean, I keep going back to when do we get back to a place where we actually have 1,000 people can get together in close quarters and have conversations like we were doing last summer, and we can have a concert, a festival, a parade down Main Street. All of these things that you just are scared to do right at the moment. How long before we return to that? I think it's going to be a while.
So we're going to take a short break right
there. Has a whole list of wild card scenarios of things that can go wrong. And one of the things on the list is always a pandemic. And we always look at that. But the thing that was missing, the thing we couldn't predict, was the particular rule set that came along with this one. Because the next pandemic could be a sexually transmitted disease. It could be passed from mother to child. It could pass through our hair follicles. It could come off of the sweat on our body. There's any number of rules that could change. It could affect the children more than the adults. And so understanding these particular rule sets and what a virus will look like, or a pandemic of any sort in the future, I think they're going to challenge us on a lot of fronts. So yeah, again, there's an opportunity there for somebody that could come up with some sort of a universal detection system that we could instantly scan airports, scan airplanes, and scan buses and trains and cars and all of that. We're a long ways from that yet, though.
So do you think this is an end era of mass tourism? Will people be afraid to travel in crowded airplanes, the airports from now on? I mean, I can't possibly imagine striving to find myself on, I don't know, jets at Hispania, where people are basically on top of each other.
Right. So when we open the world back up again, what does that look like? If you go to a sporting event, does you just have one person in every third seat or every fourth seat? Do the airlines spread out all the seats and only put people in windows and aisles and not in the center seats? So you go down the list and you start asking all of these questions. Are we requiring masks, a certain type of mask before you get onto any place in public? And so what is it that would make you feel safe in a crowded environment in the future? And if we can't figure out what makes it feel safe to us, then we're not going to go out in public again. I think we're going to be starving. We're going to get cabin fever. We want to get out. We want to be around people. Somehow we're craving that interaction, but we're also have this fight or flight part of a brain that's telling us, oh, that's going to be scary. We're going to catch something. We might die because of it.
So there are a lot more predictions of what may be the outcome of the pandemic. Some say a baby boom by the end of this year. Others say divorces will hike. What will Corona mean for our demographics?
I definitely think we're going to have a baby boom. A lot of Christmas, New Year babies as a result of this.
They call them Corona babies, Coronials.
Coronials, yeah, that's a
Coronials.
Yeah, that's a good name. One thing I think is real interesting is everything that was produced by Hollywood, the TV shows, the movies. I think this is a huge dividing point. The stories that were told up to this point are going to seem dated instantly, and we're going to have a whole new generation of storytelling moving forward. Our very definition of what a hero is, what a villain is, what success is, all of that changes moving into the future. Our whole value system has suddenly shifted and changed. So I would imagine the writers, the storytellers, are pitching people in the movie industry right now on a whole new line of stories that are going to come out of this. And we as consumers are looking for these storytellers to lead the way. We're looking for them to give us some semblance of what the new normal is going to look like.
You know, and I'm also thinking of the impact, in a way, a very good impact the pandemic had on cleaning the air, right? Thanks to a wall put on hold, the air is cleaner. Animals are coming back to public places. Our environment is healing itself really quickly. And it's hard to imagine that once Corona is dealt with, we're all going to sort of not use our cars or planes. So we're going to hop back in our cars, start polluting again. Will the post-Corona world try to preserve this environmental advance? Will there be new standards for pollution or limits on the volume of air and car traffic?
Yeah, great question. I've actually considered this notion that maybe sometime in the future that we decide to have a holiday that's 1 week long, and every year we just shut everything down for a week, and we take a break from everything we're doing. That gives us a new metric to work off of, because suddenly we have the before and after this giant pause, this reset button that we hit on society every year. Is that going to come out of this? I don't know, but I'm not the only one that's talking about something like that. So there's so many interesting positives that I think we're going to have a lot of studies, that people that are studying and surveying all of the changing attitudes right now. I think this is a period in history where we have the greatest number of cynical people that come out. We're going to have all these conspiracy theories that creep up, and this will be the biggest source of conspiracy theories in all history. We've got to point to somebody, and so this is the big boogeyman that we can all point to as and who started it, who caused it, and who screwed up along the way, and